This hour of the Alan Autry Show is sponsored by Sinlong, the most realistic artificial grass in the Central Valley.
From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody grabbing out there. Nobody. That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX.
And welcome to Free for All Friday. It's the Alan Autry Show with my good friend Guillermo Marino, the Latino and the Gringo, here with you for the next hour. I don't know when if you watch Facebook, I don't know when you're watching this. Facebook's all screwed up. Sorry, Facebook. Sorry. Zuckerberg's
really
going to get the hook on me here. But
by the way, we're on Rumble as well.
We're on Rumble.
If you
and Twitter.
If you never catch us,
if you're Boston, Twitter.
Yeah. If you can't catch us, then get us on Facebook. Then go to Rumble.
Go to Rumble.
We're on Rumble. What's our Rumble? What is it? Handle something. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. You'll find us.
Yeah, and get the old TuneIn app. Right?
Yeah.
Because you can listen on radio the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, but then you don't get to see how good looking the Gringo.
I just saw us. Man, you talk about a great. I mean, it's just. Did you see me? I am white. I got to get out in the sun.
You are white.
What do you got over there? You're paying your bills online, here, Jeremy? I had a nice visual of something there. Nice. You got 1833 to pay out for something. Well,
that's
all right. Let's talk about.
That's our Rumble money.
That's okay. We're Rumble money.
Yeah,
okay,
right,
just checking. Yeah, look at that. It's back up there now.
There
Man, I'm a white dude.
What do you?
Look at that beautiful skin melatonin stuff that you have.
It's the lighting.
Not melatonin. No, it's melanin, right?
No, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on radio.
But you know, skin color's everything.
Yeah,
it's the most important thing in the world is skin color, not the content of our characters.
No.
So we got a well-balanced skin tone show.
We do.
We should be popular all over the Ivy League. We should be the top show in higher education. Look at us.
We are.
Oh, I know. We're getting along. That's why they don't tune us in.
Very true. Very true.
They don't want white dudes and Mexicans, Latinos and Gringos talking together about solving. All right, I get it. I get it. Okay, let's talk about the debates.
Well, you got a final. Are you studying for a final? Because you got like the amount of show prep, Alan. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 6.
And I've got a folder over there.
You're kidding.
More. Oh, yeah. And I never use one of them. I don't because I can't see them. I have my glasses here. And the reason I don't lose my glasses, look why. You want the nose? It comes with the glasses.
You know attorneys do that, right? They take the law book in there and they have it, highlighted and just a bunch of tabbies.
Yes.
It's just for show.
Hey, how about smart people that tried to pretend we're in this acting class. Like if I was trying to prove a point to you. And let me tell you about the security of the border. They chew on the head. It's very important that we have a coalition of conspiratorial individuals who reminisce about the burdening nature of the policies that are certainly in hold in the Congo and the Sudan, that we bring them all together and have these divergent views, provide a guideline, a guidepost to progress in equity, diversity, and inclusion.
You hit the buzzwords, you're good.
Yeah.
Good speech.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the debate.
Here's your $8 million check. Or should I call you Nikki?
That was a nice word salad. Hey, Nikki. Okay, let's get right to the debate here.
Hold on, I got breaking news here.
Okay. Better be worth interrupting me. It better be worth it.
Colonel Somerville Colonel Somerville is going to debate a Palestinian at Fresno State next Thursday night.
Oh, I got one for you.
Oh, okay.
Colonel Sanders makes good chicken.
Oh, man.
Colonel, he would appreciate that.
He would
The
like.
Colonel would be like,
he would
run that by me again. What's that? Because you got to hear Colonel.
Yeah, John Somerville, who is an expert on Israeli military
underline
affairs.
expert, italics expert,
and he has served our country well. So he's going to be debating. It looks like a Palestinian. That's all it said. Just a Palestinian individual at Fresno State.
Okay, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I just hope that the Colonel don't need no security. Colonel don't need no security.
He knows 20 ways to kill you with his pinky.
Yeah, that is the Colonel.
Yeah.
So okay, sorry. Okay, so the debate.
Well, the debate. Did you watch it?
I did.
Okay, give us your analysis. Do you ever notice the first word of analysis is anal? Go ahead. I just find that amusing. I don't know why that popped in my head. Honest to goodness.
That's okay.
There's got to be a reason for it. Go ahead.
People love us.
Oh, most analysis, you're talking out of your... I get it now.
Makes sense.
Boy, those guys that come up with those words.
Chris Christie was talking out of his...
Oh, my gosh. Chris, as Officer Tatum calls him, Christie Cream. Chris Christie Cream. Hey, again, he's open for it. He made fun of his weight. I don't weight shame. I don't body shame. Obesity runs in my family. But he opened the door.
Yeah.
He says, come on, bring it on. I can take it. But go ahead. Give me your analysis. Or whatever you want to talk about the debate. I made a choice not to watch it. Go ahead.
You didn't watch it?
I saw it. I did later. After I didn't watch it live, and I'll tell you the reasons why after you.
Yeah. I'm tired, Alan. I'm fatigued, to be honest with you. These debates... What they're intended to do is to invigorate the party, right? We're supposed to be looking at the bench and being like, "Yeah, man, we don't only got one candidate. We got two. We got them three damn good candidates up there." And I don't know why I did that in that kind of voice, but when I look at the debate stage and you see Chris Christie, and you said this eloquently, his entire campaign is "I hate Trump," and then you have Nikki Haley, who. Nikki Haley is
Tricky Nikki.
Tricky Nikki. I like that. Tricky Nikki, who doesn't know any of the provinces of Ukraine, apparently. And then you have Ron, I'm just, happy that I beat Gavin Newsom on the debate and I'm still here, DeSantis. And then obviously you have the young buck, Vivek Ramaswamy.
You can't criticize Ron during this season. No, really. It's called the DeSantis clause. You cannot criticize him during the Christmas season.
Listen, I am not a big...
I'm doing this for a purpose. Go ahead. Okay, I won't interrupt you anymore. Right. Go ahead.
So I don't... Here's my analysis. They're all... And this is... I mean, you've heard this. They're all fighting for number two. I think my mom asked me, hey, who do you think won? I said Donald Trump. Donald Trump won the debate. I'm not sure debates are useful anymore. And I say that because... we live in such a mainstream 24-hour news cycle, social media. Back in the day when the Commission on Presidential Debates first started doing this, you rarely saw the candidate. So debates really meant something. Now these days, you have debates every single month. People are tired. And you look at the RNC who puts these on in conjunction with media outlets. And by the way, is it News Nation that held it last night with Megyn Kelly? I downloaded that app. That's got to be the worst news app ever. Anyhow, don't even
Megyn Kelly's?
Yeah, Megyn Kelly. And then they had the audio all off. And then it was a second-rate produced debate, but more so the content. Here's where we're at, folks. You have, and I didn't think of, and I never thought this would happen until last night. But I mean, eventually it was going to happen. You have the establishment Republican wing that is very much alive and well. The establishment wing wants to make sure that no MAGA.
Give me a name of someone that would embody that. Mitch McConnell,
Nikki Haley,
Romney. Oh, Nikki Haley. Okay, go ahead.
Nikki Haley.
Just want our viewers and listeners to understand what you're talking about. That kind of idea.
Nikki Haley.
Politics.
And I think Vivek had her pegged well. Dick Cheney with high heels. That is Nikki Haley. And I think
she didn't call him Dick Cheney with a shotgun.
Yeah, no kidding. Dan Bongino said it best. Last night, Vivek Ramaswamy did Ron DeSantis' dirty work. He put Nikki and Chris Christie in a body bag. He did all the dirty work, and Ron DeSantis just sat there like this. the Ron DeSantis, and he's always in a box.
So you think they had a little coalition? Do you think they talked about this, or do you think it was wink and nod?
No, for sure. I think it's one of those things where, have you ever watched reality TV and it's like
too much? My wife loves it,
and you know that they have to have like alliances, right? There's sometimes alliances to get to the end. So that's what you have going on here. You have Nikki and Chris Christie on an alliance, and it stems from I hate Trump. Trump is bad, except when I worked with him in the last administration. And then you have Vivek and Ron saying, "Look, man, if we're going to get each other to the end, one of us has got to do the dirty work, and we'll rise to the top." So I think now you have teams, but at the end of the day, you
got teams and then Christie out there by himself.
And
right?
then you have, I think he was doing some of the heavy lifting for Nikki.
Yeah, you're right.
They're one in the same cloth.
Yeah.
They really are.
You're right.
But at the end of the day, do I believe any of them, can they be the number two? Are they going to be the number one guy? They're not going to be number one. I think even Chris Christie said it at one point. He goes, "Hey, let's just be real here. None of us have a shot." He was we're not winning this thing. We need to be talking about Donald Trump and talking about the man that's not here. And so he went off on a tangent. But do any of these four candidates have what it takes to be number two? And I wasn't a Ron DeSantis guy at all. But I think watching these debates now, I think the only option for a number two is Ron DeSantis. Nikki Haley is going to throw Donald Trump under the bus if she were vice president. She's going to be worse than Mike Pence. So
well,
it's not going to. And you know who these debates benefit as well? Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Because nobody's talking about the guy. The Democrats aren't debating. Why are we doing it? I say you just shut them all down. It's worthless. It's pointless.
Well, I agree they're lousy debates, but I kind of disagree with you on the reasons why. I think the times we're in right now, if you had a very thoughtful, robust, mature debate, it could be very beneficial for the country. Because I think if you believe Trump has a chance to win this, you are looking at a possible number two candidate. I think they're all not ready for prime time. None of them are looking for a chance to make a joke. No. Where's the sense of humor in any of them?
Vivek.
Any great candidate? He's put people so off. I like Vivek. I think he's a great intellectual component and resource for our country. But he will not shut up. He talks over people. Everything that you would tell your kids not to do when you engage in a debate. Debate has rules. You don't talk over people. They cut you off. And I think they need to have it where they cut a mic off and something, because if you won't shut up,
why they haven't figured that out is beyond me.
Yeah, you won't let the other person finish. Now, what we've forgotten is the Democratic primary back when Joe Biden was winning was just as much of a circus, if not more so than this one. Not one. They all want to be Reagan, but they don't have Reagan's sense of humor. And there's openings after openings to steal the heart of America and steal votes, in this case, that the Republicans need from independents and Democrats to win. And you can do it with a little bit of confident humor. Don't lower yourself into these screaming matches. And the one who presents him or herself as above the fray, you're better off not to say anything. Just sit there and look at them and make them say, well, you haven't said anything. If I was there, I would say, well, you know what I'd do? Mr. Autry, do you have anything to say? They've been attacking you. Well, I think it would serve the people better if we let all three of these just get it out of the system. Keep doing, saying whatever you want to say. Have my time. You can have my time. And when you're through talking over each other and you'll let somebody finish with their thought, then I would like to participate in the debate. But right now, I'm not going to participate in this craziness. The people would go nuts. Everybody would go, man, that's leadership.
Yeah, if you're right. If Vivek would have said, listen, I'm going to take this first minute to give you all my insults, because then it's for the American people. You overeat, you're corrupt, and you're just happy to be on stage. Let's get to
why Bidenomics isn't working,
exactly,
and how we have to win the war in the Middle East.
These aren't my enemies. Joe Biden is.
You if Vivek had the touch, the feel for that.
That I do.
But I like Vivek, but he has steadily gone down. Every debate he loses. And it's this immature, I got to talk over people. I'm so eager to get my ideas out, although most of those ideas are really good. He brought up this replacement theory, of which Dana Bash jumped all over him about, which is tied to, she says, and the far left tries to tie it to white supremacy. I think the term, Vivek didn't mean that, I don't believe that in terms of a racial component. It's just bringing any foreigners, whatever color they are. You bring in so many of them that you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions. You're going to dilute the when they get the right to vote, which the Democrats want, to dilute that to where they do become just, brainwashable puppets to go out, and the Democrats believe they will be able to win the battle for the minds and the votes of these folks that are letting in. Now they want to call that replacement theory, whatever. I don't know. I didn't know the historical connotations to that. I'm sorry to say, but she just jumped all over him like a starving dog.
She
in a meat
did,
house
and just like Vivek looked immature, you had Nikki Haley look almost kind of pompous and arrogant.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And she did. I didn't know she had left with 100,000 government service, and then is now worth $8 million. I thought her response was great because I was like, man, you're like Hillary Clinton.
I don't know if that carries any weight anymore. I think because when you have a billionaire as president, I think you're not going to find anything, I don't think, illegal in what she did. You're just going to try guilty by rubbing elbows and sitting on a board. I understand the point he's trying to make. I don't think it's a difference maker in terms of somebody debating whether they're going to vote for her or not. Yeah. Do you? I mean,
I wasn't going to vote for her anyway. So the fact
she sat on the board of Boeing, I don't know if the average American. Okay, what's she going to do to secure the border? What's she going to do to cut taxes? What's she going to do about this endless war in Ukraine?
Yeah, I agree.
What's she going to do about defunding the police? Where are they going to stand on that? I think the people are more, and I think in terms of that type of activity, they're more focused on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
What was done as vice president when these payola schemes in the Ukraine. But
Sorry, they need to be done with these debates because you start hearing the same thing. If I hear Chris Christie one more time talk about how experienced he is with the Justice Department and how he went in there on September 10th, right before September 11th, I think I'm just going to pull out my hair. I'm just so tired of hearing it. I'm tired of Ron talking about what he did to Disney, what he did to Woke Inc., and I'm tired of Nikki Haley talking about how she was UN ambassador and she sat across from Iran and we got to tell them to do it. It's getting old. They got no new material. It's the same stuff. It doesn't benefit anyone. We're falling into a trap. You know what's going to win next year? It's not going to be these debates. Actually, it's not going to be any debate. It's not going to be any of the presidential debates. It's not going to be the national convention. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be those 6 swing states. And do we have any type of ballot harvesting, election integrity, rules, regulations? Do we have watchers?
How that's are we never discussed.
Make sure exactly
because they're afraid they're going to be called an election denier.
How in the heck are we going to make sure that on November 8th, November 7th of 2024, that we don't wake up the next day and have the same thing happen to us? What are we doing? Let me ask you this. Let me do you one better. Are we still going to mail out ballots to every single person who is alive or dead in the county? Are we still going to do that? Because, and I've said this for a very long time, you know who's not worried about election time next year? The Democrats. They're really not worried. I can't remember last time I saw Joe Biden on a campaign stump. Yeah. You know why they're not campaigning? Because they don't need to.
Yeah.
They don't need to because they know where they got to win. They know what counties that night's going to come down to. They're not stupid.
And they hold back the returns.
Yes, exactly.
So when they need some more votes, they
listen. And I forgot who said it, but they said Republicans campaign, Democrats harvest.
Mm-hmm.
End of story.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, when this started out, when they had 11, 12 of them there, I saw the roster and I was really impressed. I was really looking forward to the debates because I kind of knew that Trump was going to be the nominee. But there was a chance for us to pick, and we talked about this on the show. He's only got one term. He's only got 4 years. And if he does a good job,
Alan, maybe 3, maybe 4. I don't know.
On his first day.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, the dictator in him, right? Yeah, he's going to be able to run another.
Maybe I won't die, Alan. Yeah. And maybe I won't die.
Yeah, well, we at least I thought we had a chance to find someone that was presidential that could say, okay, you got Trump in there, been there for 4 years, times were good, inflation down, joblessness, unemployment figures down. no wars raging, got us out of a couple of wars.
Yeah.
Just everything seemed better. And I've said that nostalgia is going to play a big part in this next election. People remember back when gas was $2 a gallon. They remember back when the streets were safer. They remember back when the border was under control. So I think that's going to be a tough card for Biden to defeat. He could, and Trump could do something really stupid. But I was looking at these debates saying, okay, who could, what a great opportunity for one of them to be the vice president nominee and learn, be in there, not have all that responsibility, but be ready like Harry Truman was ready to replace Franklin Roosevelt. A wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think what's happened is those four candidates, as the others dropped out, is probably ensure that none of them are going to be his running mate. I think you've probably opened the door for Tim Scott and for a woman, Kristi Noem, out of South Dakota.
So you think Trump just says, "Hey, I'm not dealing with any of these four hoodlums"?
Well, I just don't. I think they've all been tarnished. That I don't see if he get the only political analysis that you could come up with. Just take everything your beliefs or what is out. Just look at it as a analytical decision. One that would be floated to him would be, hey, Nikki Haley.
I was just about to think, yeah.
Brings in some people that you need.
Yeah.
Whether that will hold up come election night, I don't know. Do I think anybody other than Trump, because they know Trump will be running things, not the vice president, would say, you know what, I don't want this individual. She's too flip-floppy. There's certain things about her that I just don't like, that bind into what Swami is saying and DeSantis. I just think they've wounded each other enough. But I tell you, I'm glad it happened, because I don't think now I've changed my position. One of them may be the nominee, but they aren't who I thought and hoped they would be, any of them.
You know what? You got me thinking here, because I think now Donald Trump is the smartest man on that wasn't on that stage or not. Of course he wasn't, because as I'm thinking about this, if he were to jump in that stage, I think his poll numbers would go down just automatically.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because he's going to get hit so much. I think he's going to wait. You're absolutely right. Whoever comes in number 2 in Iowa and New Hampshire, I think is really going to put the pressure on him. And at that point in time, then he's going to make his decision. If Nikki Haley continues her mega donor rise with kind of the people in the middle, if she continues that, then I think Donald Trump is going to be forced. I mean, if Nikki Haley beats Donald Trump in Iowa or New Hampshire, he's going to have to offer her the vice presidency. Mm-hmm. It's just game over. Game over. That you're not getting away from that. If Donald Trump wins New Hampshire, Iowa, South Carolina pretty handedly, he gets to pick whoever he wants. He doesn't have to go.
Yeah.
But here's my other thing: does Donald Trump? You think he's gonna do all 4 years? I mean, pedal to the metal, or do you think this is more? Do you think
notwithstanding some health concern, yeah.
Or do you think? And here's the point. I mean,
he'll make the 4 years. Why wouldn't he?
Because I'm thinking maybe he doesn't.
He'll quit.
Well, maybe it's personal to where. And here's my issue with Nikki Haley.
You think Orange Jesus is going to quit?
That's
what they're calling it now. I'm not being blasphemous. That's
Nikki Haley, I think, has an axe to grind. If he has to take on Nikki Haley, I think Nikki Haley is going to want to be a very active vice president, unlike Kamala Harris. And I think she's going to be a thorn in Trump's side.
I don't know what you can do. Now, if you were attorney general, I would think that would be a concern. If you were where you actually had power. But as vice president, you have really zero power. You can't really be a thorn. All you can do is get out there and have a bunch of press conferences. Then you're going to look like you're upstaging your president.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be analytical about, and you mentioned it, who best helps you get those 6 battleground states. Mm-hmm. And historically, that has been a compromise in modern history, relatively modern history, that presidents have had to make in order to get, put a coalition together, allow them to win. Excuse me. I mean, John Kennedy did not really like Lyndon Johnson, but he had to have Texas.
Yeah.
He was up against a very popular, people don't realize it, a very popular vice president. He was Dwight Eisenhower. Richard Nixon was Dwight Eisenhower, one of the most popular presidents ever, World War II hero. And it was a razor-thin election. And you look back, and the turnout was not that great. But the Knicks, anyway, I don't want to get off on that, but I want to talk about that on show on turnouts. But they made the deal, and then you look at Barack Obama and Joe Biden. You had this young guy, and they felt, look, you got to bring somebody seasoned in there that knows the ropes. And I heard a lot of people say this. Hey, I love Obama's vitality. I said, but here, listen to what he's saying. This guy's a socialist with, on steroids. But they would say, yeah, but he's got Joe Biden there who knows the ropes, and he'll take care.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't know what they're. God, you give them eyes, but they do not see. But you see the deals that were made, and I think Trump, who wrote the heart of the deal, they will break down those analytics.
Yeah.
And they'll see how strong her support is. What do they gain in these battleground states with her? Or do they gain more with Sarah Huckabee Sanders coming in, which I think would be more of the same Trump? Or does he need a contrast to get elected? I'm leaning towards a contrast. Whether it's Nikki Haley or not, he needs to have somewhat of a nuanced contrast that makes people feel comfortable that, number one, they're going to be there in Trump's ear, like Trump did with Mike Pence. Pence was a very solid Christian guy, and the deal was when Trump does these midnight tweets, Pence is going to be in his ear, bringing him down and bringing some common sense to the situation. That, at least, was the perception, and I think it was smart. Either Mike Pence or a Mike Pence-type character to counterbalance this bigger-than-life personality that's liable to say anything, that doesn't measure their words, and you have a guy there who's a great cleanup man.
Yeah.
He can come in and clean up behind Trump, and he did a good job of that. So I don't know if maybe Nikki Haley would be. I know it's not DeSantis. You get two Trumps there. Now, maybe the other person in the room trying to convince Trump would say, yeah, but that's what people want after 4 years. They want to feel comfortable. They want somebody just like you. But then the person over there saying, Haley going, but does he help you win the battleground states? That's the debate that's going to be going on in the Trump camp.
Yeah. I think Scott.
And I don't think, my point is, I don't think any of those four up there, I'm with you. Obviously not Christie. But the other three were in a shot at least, probably DeSantis in this order, Haley, Ramaswamy as a vice presidential.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think, I don't know if you said this, but I'm going to say, I think it might be Scott, to be honest with you, because he needs someone to counterbalance him. So he needs a nice guy.
That makes sense.
Who was the nice guy in the race? Who was, the Mike Pence of the next year? It would be Tim Scott.
And historically, we've never had a black vice president. Now, you're not going to hear they had a black president. Well, he was half white. He's got a white mom, Barack Obama.
Oh,
but it's about skin color. It's not about us, actually.
Yeah, I would. Tim and Scott. Tim Scott would close the deal in Georgia. Mm-hmm. And you need that. You need Georgia. You need Pennsylvania.
That's a good point. That's you got to have Georgia.
You got to have Georgia.
Very tenuous.
Yeah.
I mean, you got this Raphael Warnock. I mean, you can say what you want about it. I can't wrap my mind, not to count my soul, around a preacher at Ebenezer Baptist Church. I mean, the church that Martin Luther King brought to prominence, who is a abortion at any term.
That's crazy.
Preacher. Yeah, I'm talking about 9 months. He has not said he would not support that if it was the mother's wish. But the guy is partnered with John Kennedy, the old senator there, the really far-right guy, to do this bill to bring insulin availability to some of the poorest communities at no cost. So he's quietly behind the scenes canvassing Georgia, and he's going to come out calling Tim Scott the House you-know-what by running with Trump. But I do believe that Tim Scott could counter that and do that. But you're right. They need, and I only pointed it out with Warnock, is he's a threat. Georgia, something's happened in Georgia. It's not a gimmick. It used to be just a staunch red state. You could count on that. Florida used to be the purple state. Now it's solidly red. Times, as Bob Dylan says, they are changing.
Yeah,
politically there.
Well,
but I want to reiterate, and I'll shut up here. I want you to hear. I love hearing you talk, by the way.
Oh, well, thank
my
you.
Latino to Gringo. What does gringo actually mean? Is it in the Mexican culture?
It's like
is it
guy,
like
a white guy?
Is it like hey dude, or
No,
it's just a
like
white guy? Is it usually said with a term of endearment or a little bit of disgust?
It's neutral.
Like redneck.
Normally
redneck.
not. Normally
some
not.
rednecks like to be called redneck.
Yeah,
It's meant as a compliment.
No, normally not good. Now that I think about it, you're a gringo.
I'm going to change that. I want to be called gringo. I want to change the narrative.
Okay.
Just call me OWG.
Or how
old
about
white gringo.
El gringo.
El gringo.
El gringo.
The gringo.
The gringo.
Okay. Where were we?
Speaking about Latinos.
Okay. And Latinas.
And Latinas or Latinx.
Oh, no.
That
rhymes with Kleenex, and they don't want that.
This is
how you do a name of an ethnicity that rhymes with something you blow your nose in.
Yeah, I know.
All you Latinx out there, think about that. It rhymes with Kleenex. Latinx. Get rid of it. Discard it. Don't let them do that to you.
Let me tell you something. What really irritates me is that there's not a Latino candidate that could be a vice presidential.
Mark Rubio?
He's cute. I think he's Cuban. Yeah, he's.
Oh, that's right. Latino has to be Mexican.
Yeah.
No, no, it has to be from Latin.
That's a way to piss every other
no,
Latino.
I don't know. You want to know about white trash down in the deep South? All of the synonyms that are used down there. I don't know. I mean, I can't keep up with it. Used to be back in the black, it was called Negro, the United Negro, then the National Association of Colored People. You can't call them. It's not Negro. It's not colored. Then it was black. Then you got black. You can't go black anymore. You're racist. It's got to be African American.
Well,
I don't mean anything by it. Tell me what it is.
And some individuals don't like to be called African American because they say, "Hey, I'm not from Africa."
Again.
Yeah, I'm not. So yeah.
So me, I think there's stuff going on back in the name. Oh, you hillbilly. Well, to some people that's a pejorative. Some people like it. You can still call people hillbillies back there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you jumped all over me. Who did I piss off? I just said it's Latino.
Yeah, you said that.
Okay, let me say this question. All Mexicans would be Latino.
Yes.
But not all Latinos are Mexican.
Perfect.
Okay. Am I standing corrected?
Yeah. And I don't mind. I've had in college.
Touchy.
In college, I had.
If you hadn't gone to Michigan State, I could imagine if you'd gone to Columbia or Harvard.
Oh my gosh,
you'd be so touchy.
Oh man, what was I going to say? I think it's the Vicodin.
No, you asked. There's not a Latino candidate. I think
if Donald Trump.
I said, how about Marco Rubio? He said he's not Latino.
He's the wrong Latino. He's Cuban. I'm not saying it's bad to be Cuban, but
you're in trouble.
You need. Now I need to walk it back. You need a Latino candidate. I think Donald Trump really needs a Latino candidate that can help him win Arizona, Nevada, because he needs those states too. I think it's going to be a tough call.
Let me ask you
honestly,
this.
I don't know.
There is, I don't know if he's ready for prime time, but he's the mayor
of Florida somewhere,
Miami, yeah. And then there's got to be around this union some strong governors. Well, it's a testament of how they're not out bragging about what they're doing, but there's got to be. No good Latino or Latina governor that's out there.
Not that I mean,
or in the Senate. I mean, you would think.
I'm thinking hard. Let
me ask you this: what do you think about Byron Donalds? I know he's not Latino, but just what do you think of him?
I like him. I think he's.
I think he's an up and coming star.
He is. I would love to see him as speaker one day. They're not going to give him any beef. I'm not sure I see him as presidential, but for sure
at this point.
But I like him. I like the guy. I really do. I like the guy. And this goes back to our bench, Alan. If Republicans were willing to play as a team, because politics is a team sport. If Republicans were willing to play as a team and just know that, hey, listen, man, it might not be your time, and it's not a lot of people's time, and we have so much talent. Byron Donalds, I could see him running for governor of Florida after DeSantis.
Yeah. Well, you just mentioned something. I think that the Democrats really do have an advantage over Republicans. Even though they want somebody other than Biden, we know that. They would love him to step out and either have Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Kamala or Kamala? I mean, Gavin Newsom jumped all over. It changes.
Is it Kamala? I think it's Kamala.
I mean, no disrespect.
Kamala.
Be no disrespect by mispronouncing her name, but they don't, the vast majority don't want Joe Biden to run. And they're starting to be more and more vocal. But I guarantee you this, if he does not keel over, if he makes it to the election.
Oh, he will.
They will all, they meaning the Democratic Party, the media, everyone will coalesce behind him. You won't hear any criticism. I can't say that for the Republicans if Trump is the nominee. I don't expect Christie to follow Ronald Reagan's rule, don't speak ill will, never speak ill will of a fellow Republican. The Republicans pick their nominee, and it's him. You're not going to get Mitt Romney. In fact, you're going to get just the opposite. You're going to get Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney. Liz Cheney may run for president, trying to just drain as many votes as she can. Don't you agree?
All four of them.
You've got the hatred for Trump. And I said it on the show the other day, love is the most powerful force on the planet, but hate nips it at its heels.
Yeah.
It nips it, loves it. It is very powerful. And you're getting people like Romney, Cheney, Christie, absolutely intoxicated with hate towards this man. And you look at the record, and he did it last night. I thought Christie was smart enough. I had a little bit of respect for him in terms of going after Trump. Okay, you didn't finish the wall? Good point. You said you were going to repeal Obamacare and replace it? You didn't. Good point. So I'm going, okay, I may not agree with you on that, but you're making good, cogent points and doing it a good way. And then he did it. He couldn't resist. And he says, and you, Christie last night on the stage, and you heard Donald Trump, he said he'd be a dictator on the first day, and he will be a dictator. He did it. We talked about it on the show. Donald Trump, you may not like him. He doesn't have the power to become a dictator as president. The separation of powers prevents such as this. And we've seen him for 4 years. Dictators don't lower taxes, they raise them, so you're more beholden to the dictatorship. Dictators don't allow you to have guns to protect yourself. Because why? Dictators want to control you and the military and be able to drag you out of your home and bring you in for interrogation anytime they will please. That's what dictators do. Trump didn't do that. Okay? You can go on and on and on. Dictators don't want to be tied down to a document that gives all of these freedoms to individuals. They want to tear it up, and if they can't do it the right way, then they want to alter that document, the Constitution, pack the Supreme Court, and make sure every decision that affects your life is fixed, is rigged through the Supreme Court. That's dictatorship. That's a dictatorial ideology. And you have Christie playing the dictator card. Joe Scarborough going as far as to say, he will not only become a dictator, but he will imprison his enemies, and if given a power, would execute them. This is the nonsense that supposedly intelligent people I may disagree with them ideologically, but I had some semblance of respect. And what should it make you mad if you're a Democrat, even on the edges of wokeism? They think you're idiots. They think you're stupid. They think they can tell you over and over that Donald Trump will become a dictator when the guy you supported is making you stick a needle in your arm with an experimental vaccine that we don't know what it's going to do to you. And you got to take it or you can't go to your job. And if you're serving in the military, you're kicked out of the military if you don't take it. They're even telling you what car to drive. If you don't drive an electric car by this date, you don't get to drive.
Alan, when they do it,
That's a dictator,
not when they
Go
do
ahead,
it.
Finish I'm getting a little triggered there.
When they do it,
Hey, Mo, Larry, jeez.
When they do it, it's not dictatorship. It's good governance.
It's good governance.
Leadership. It's leadership.
It's what Thomas Sowell calls the anointed. The philosophy of the anointed.
It's true.
They are so much smarter than you. Go read his book, The Conflict of Visions. The Vision of the Anointed is another book. You're right. They think they've all, and you notice everywhere there's a problem in the world, or really problems that affect us all, economic failures, inflation, economic policies that don't make any sense, like print more money, foreign wars. You always find somebody from Harvard in the middle of it. You check that out.
You do. You do.
You find somebody, most of the time it's Harvard, but it's almost uncannily 70, 80% an Ivy League graduate. I mean, going all the way back to Robert McNamara and his whiz kids that talked Lyndon Johnson into staying into Vietnam in a war that he couldn't win. It was all these young graduates from the Ivy League that got in the back room and came out with this theoretical game plan that the longer you stayed in Vietnam, the better chance you had to win, with no definition of what victory is. It goes all the way back. It's kind of started there. They call them McNamara the whiz kids because he had all these young people with all these fancy degrees. Oh, they didn't drop out of school in Nebraska because they had to take care of their family, had a work ethic and faith, family, and country meaning something. They're dumb idiots. And they're trying to treat you like that still today.
Yeah.
You said it. Oh, there's so much someday, they feel, we will be as enlightened as they are. But not now.
If only.
At now, they need to take care of us. Let us make the decisions in your life. And someday, because you don't have a graduate degree from Harvard, you didn't go to Oxford. We did. We're intellectually superior at this moment. Not that you'll be there someday, populace. But now you got to depend on this little cabal of elites to make the most important decisions of your life for you.
Yeah.
And what do you call that? Dictatorship. That's what that is. You don't put lipstick on a dictator and call it
Dick Cheney.
They call it an American president. No, let's put a lipstick on this dictator and call it a president of a free country. No way.
Alan, let me tell you this, and this is
take this show home. It's all yours.
Day one in a president in Donald Trump's presidency. Remember, he said, "I'm going to be a dictator." Just day one. Day one. Let me tell you.
People actually.
It's great, but let me tell you honestly. I'm not saying I want Donald Trump. You have a big issue with the bureaucracy. You have a big issue in Washington, D.C. Whatever he has the ability to do constitutionally, he needs to do it the second time around. Let's just be very clear. He didn't drain the swamp. He might have opened the little, the thing that stops in the tub.
The drain.
He kind of tugged at it a little bit. And
that's what Christie just said. It's time to drain the Ramaswamy. See, if he would have said that, he would have. Go ahead. Keep going. Keep your thought.
That was good.
Go ahead.
And I really hope he does it. I don't think Donald Trump's going to go after anybody. I think he's going to hit the floor on day one and just try to. Gas pedal. He knows he's got 4 years. Here's my biggest issue now. I don't think the problems that this country has. We're getting on that tip where I'm not sure Donald Trump having 4 years is gonna turn it all around. But he can get it on the right track. He can get on the right track, and then you're going to have, like you said earlier, you're going to have those Chris Christies, all these Republicans that are going to be trying to stop his momentum, that are going to be there every single turn, and then already on top of a very, very belligerent left that's going to try and stop him. This man's got an uphill battle. Imagine. I think
he relishes it. I don't think he wants it to be easy. He's a different cut of guy.
Hey.
Because why? He wants to pull off the impossible. Like Jeremy was imitating, he wants to say, if he went to prison, I was able to stop the gangs. Nobody could stop the gangs before me. I got him a piece of eating at the same table.
Man.
No, he's a different dude.
He's a different dude. You're right.
Don't you agree?
Absolutely. The guy's going to be, 80 when he takes office?
Yes. And let me tell you, you come into his office and say, we've tried to do what you said, Mr. President, and we can't be done. He said, look, there may be 1,000 reasons why you can't do it, but there's one way you can. Go find it.
Yeah.
And you got by noon next Tuesday to have it to me.
Yeah.
That's how you have to run this country when you need to change policy. And that's why they hate him. Because the bureaucracies don't want to change because too many people are getting rich off of things staying just the way they are.
Yeah, true. You got a good point.
And that's why you get a lot of these Republicans that you criticize a lot because they've been on the old sow's tit too. And they just want things to stay the way they are. That big old government sow sitting in there, all those teats in there. And there's no saying. There's no saying.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
There's no saying. You know what pig squeals the loudest? The ones who've been rooted away from the tit. They're the ones that squeal the loudest. So you got Trump going, sorry, we're not going to be a sow anymore. You got to go. All of this China, sorry, you've been in the government tip for a while. You got to pay some tariffs We've been on the wrong end of these trade deals for so long, funding the UN, and then all we do, we fund them to beat up on us.
Mm-hmm.
And then they squeal like crazy. Because why? Because they'll have to let some people go if the United States pulls its funding. Oh, man, we got to let somebody go. This guy that hates America, that gets up and said, we're the root of all evil. We got to let them go. What's a pig make? Give me a good pig make. There you go. How's the sound coming out? If Trump gets elected, you're just going to be, you're going to hear so much. I mean, they're going to come at him, but I think he'll be better equipped. Their only chance is to get him convicted in prison, and then you have a constitutional battle because there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't run the country from prison.
Yeah, no, it's...
I mean, there's not.
Buckle up, 2024. Buckle up.
Guillermo, love you so much. Hope that tooth heals up.
Too,
Jeremy
man.
G, loving you. And I love you folks for tuning in. God bless you. God bless America. And just do your best and let God do the rest. And I guarantee you it's going to work out the way it's supposed to. Love y'all. Bye-bye now.
Again, happy train.